Welcome back to Buddha Motivation. Today, we are delving into a powerful and often misunderstood topic, the deep karmic connection behind marriage and relationships. Have you ever felt a connection to someone so strong, yet so complicated? A pull that seems to transcend reason and logic? Many believe that love is the foundation of marriage. But in Buddhism, we understand that marriage often carries a deeper, more spiritual purpose. In our lives, we often search for answers in our relationships. Why do we feel certain things? Why do some relationships bring us peace, while others feel like a struggle? Well, from a Buddhist perspective, marriage is not just a union of two people, it's a meeting of souls, often destined by karma to heal, grow, and evolve together. In this video, we will explore how karma shapes the relationships we form, why some marriages seem difficult, and how to understand the lessons behind those challenges. Let's journey together into the wisdom of the Buddha, the teachings of karma, and the profound truths that lie hidden in our love lives. The unseen forces behind love and marriage. From the moment we meet someone, there is often an undeniable force pulling us toward them. We may call this attraction. But what if it isn't love in its purest form? What if that connection is rooted in unresolved karma from previous lives? We often meet individuals not by chance, but because our souls have an unfinished task with them, a lesson that must be learned, or a debt that must be repaid. One man walked into a monk's chamber, his eyes filled with confusion and pain. "I married a woman I thought I loved," he said. "But now I feel trapped. Why did karma bring me to her?" The monk paused for a moment and replied, "Karma doesn't bind you to comfort, my friend. It binds you to clarity. Marriage is not about finding someone who completes you. It is about meeting someone who helps you finish your soul's unfinished work." This insight reminds me that the relationships we have are not just about seeking pleasure or companionship. They are part of a larger spiritual journey. We often seek people who bring us joy, but sometimes the ones we are drawn to are meant to challenge us. They are the mirrors that show us where we need to grow, heal, and evolve. It's not always about romance. It's about awakening and growing together. The mirror of marriage. Think about the people you've been drawn to in your life, your partners, your closest friends. In Buddhist philosophy, we are taught that the people we meet are reflections of ourselves. And marriage is one of the most profound mirrors of all. When you marry someone, you're not just marrying their personality, their looks, or their achievements. You are also marrying their past, their pain, their fears, and sometimes, their unfinished emotional business. I've often heard people say, "I love them, but they make me feel miserable." Or, "I feel so connected, yet everything about the relationship is so hard." The truth is, marriage is rarely about finding someone who simply fits. It's about meeting someone who forces us to confront the parts of ourselves that we might be ignoring or repressing. One story that has always stuck with me is of a woman who was constantly drawn to a man who seemed to hurt her more than he helped her. Friends advised her to leave, but her heart refused to listen. She married him. Over time, she endured betrayal, isolation, and emotional coldness. When she finally sought wisdom from a temple monk, he said something that struck her deeply. What you call attraction is not a recognition of love, but a recognition of burden. You're drawn to him because your soul recognizes something it needs to work through. A karmic debt, not a romantic connection. In my own life, I've experienced this exact phenomenon. Sometimes we are drawn to people not because we are in love, but because there are lessons to be learned, lessons we've been avoiding, or are simply unaware of. I remember a time when I felt an irresistible pull towards someone who seemed to mirror all my unresolved fears and insecurities. At first, I resisted the connection, thinking it was purely painful and negative. But as I spent more time in the relationship, I realized that what I was facing was not just their behavior. It was the reflection of my own unhealed wounds. The role of unresolved karma. Karma is a powerful force in relationships. It's not just the actions we take in this life, but the accumulation of our past actions, those of previous lives, and even unresolved emotional baggage we carry. Sometimes, the pain we experience in relationships is not a reflection of who the person is in front of us, but rather a manifestation of what we still need to heal within ourselves. There is a story of a woman who was left heartbroken when her husband left her for another. She came to a Zen teacher, confused and hurt. "Why did he leave me?" she asked. The Zen master gently asked her, "Can you recall a time when you left someone when they needed you the most?" She hesitated, and then nodded. The teacher said, "Your soul remembers. The deep love you felt for him was not just about love, it was about guilt. Your love was seeking redemption for what you did in a past life." In my own personal journey, I've come to realize that relationships are not always about the surface story. They are about uncovering layers of unresolved karma. In my experience, when we face difficulties in relationships, they are often mirroring the very things we need to work on within ourselves. It's like a cosmic dance, where each partner brings something into the relationship to heal, learn, and evolve. It's essential to realize that the person you are with carries your unfinished karma. They are not here to punish you, but to help you see the patterns you need to break free from. This is why it's important to view challenges in relationships as opportunities for growth. They are the universe's way of nudging us toward self-awareness, attachment, and liberation. One of the core teachings in Buddhism is that attachment is the root of suffering. This includes attachment to people, experiences, and even outcomes in relationships. We often hold on to relationships far past their natural expiration date, because we are afraid of being alone, of failing, or simply because we are attached to the idea of love. A Zen master once shared a powerful truth. The most powerful act of love is not holding on. It is letting go with peace. I've found this to be incredibly true. There was a time in my own life when I clung to a relationship that no longer served me. Not because I wanted to, but because I was afraid of losing the idea of it. But the moment I released that attachment, I felt an incredible sense of freedom. In Buddhist practice, we learn that liberation comes when we stop clinging, not just to people, but to ideas, expectations, and attachments. Whether a marriage lasts for a lifetime or ends prematurely, the key to peace is not in holding on, but in letting go when the lesson is learned. Holding on to something beyond its natural course only keeps us stuck in the mud of attachment. Letting go, on the other hand, allows us to experience the freedom that comes with non-attachment, the path toward awakening. Ultimately, marriage, and all relationships, are a vehicle for awakening. They are an opportunity for each person to evolve spiritually, to awaken to their true nature, and to serve the world. It's not about personal happiness or comfort. It's about what the relationship can teach us, what it reveals about ourselves, and how it serves a higher purpose. In my own life, I've come to understand that the most fulfilling relationships are not based on selfish needs, but on a shared dharma. These are relationships where both partners come together not to complete each other, but to grow and evolve together toward a higher purpose. It's about supporting each other in our individual and collective spiritual journeys. There's a beautiful Zen saying: when two souls marry, not to fill each other but to serve the world together, karma bows in reverence. This reflects the highest form of marriage, not based on emotional need, but on spiritual service and growth. Such relationships transcend personal gain and become a means of serving the world with love, compassion, and wisdom. In conclusion, marriage, from a Buddhist perspective, is not about seeking perfection, but about awakening. Whether your marriage lasts for a lifetime or ends in separation, the most important thing is not to cling to the relationship out of fear or attachment, but to let go with peace and gratitude for the lessons it has taught you. I encourage you to reflect on your relationships, past and present. What have they taught you? How have they helped you grow? Remember, the people we marry are not just our partners, they are our teachers, helping us to awaken, heal, and evolve. Marriage, in its truest sense, is not an end goal, it is a sacred journey toward spiritual freedom. Thank you for being part of this journey. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue this exploration of life, love, and awakening together.